Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of First Taste. I am your host, Mr. Justin Williams of Justin's Alaska Eats. This is hosted by Recover Alaska, and this is a monthly series normalizing sober and sober curious lifestyles through community and candid conversations and taste testing delicious mocktails made right here in Alaska. Let's go around and introduce everyone. So we have Miss Kat Moore. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi there, my name is Kat Moore, and I'm a musician and a freelance music teacher out of Anchorage, Alaska, who loves food and drink, so I'm doubly tickled to be here today. Thanks for
That you're precious, Kat. It's so good to have you here.
having
Um,
me.
Mr. Andrew Aquino, sir, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, Justin, thanks for having me. Andrew Aquino. I'm joining y'all from Fairbanks. I think you're in Anchorage, so
Mhm.
I'm up there.
Yeah,
Right now I do special projects for the president of the university system. Yeah.
very excellent. All right, so good to have you here for episode 2. And Mr. Jen Mitchum, welcome, sir. Let the people know who you are.
How's it going? I'm joining you here from Juneau, Alaska, at Malga Distillery. Been bartending here, and hopefully we can make you some cool drinks.
That sounds like a plan. I'm super thrilled to be here. I'm glad to be your guys' host. You guys keep telling me that I'm doing an okay job, so I'm going to continue to keep it mediocre, just
You're
so everyone's
fine.
comfortable.
Yeah, you're great.
Oh, you're great, Andrew. Take that. Um, no, but I'm super happy to be here. This is June's episode, and as it is Pride Month and the celebration of Juneteenth, I think we have a couple of, oh boy, important conversations to discuss. Obviously, we're not going to be doing it too long, but to touch on these topics is very, very important for us extremely diverse Alaskans. But we're brought together here by food and drink and community, and we are here for all of, well, not for food, but definitely for the drink. And so we're definitely here trying Jen's fantastic mocktails and having conversation over them. And so, Jen, why don't you let us know what you've made for us today, my friend?
Yeah, definitely. So today what I'm going to make is the Cardamom Grapefruit Sipper. This will be the drink that has lime juice, grapefruit, cardamom, and yeah, I guess I'll make it for you.
Right.
So if you're at home, if you have something to something to shake with, a tin, you'll start with that, and you want to get the ingredients. First, you'll start off with 1 ounce of grapefruit juice, and you just put that in a jigger if you have one, measure it out to 1 ounce, and then put it in the mixing glass there. And we're gonna put also 1 ounce of water for dilution. And after that, we're gonna try to make this a little more interesting. Bring some sweet, bring some sour in, usually with cocktails, you want to keep it, about the same proportions. Not too much sour, not too much sweet. Just something so you get a little bit of both worlds. We're gonna add 3/4 ounce of lime juice. Oops. Spilling all over the place here. So 3/4 ounce of lime juice. And to balance that out, we're gonna use some cardamom simple syrup. And here I'm gonna use some Pink House Alchemy simple syrup. They do a great job. If you can get it, great. But if you're at home and you want to make this simple syrup, it's a pretty easy recipe. You just take 15 grams of cardamom. Ideally, you blend that up And then you mix that together with 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of hot water, stir that up, and just let it sit and cool down for about 30 minutes or so, and strain it, and then you're ready to go. So yeah, you'll want to add 3/4 ounce of cardamom simple, and this will give it a little bit of like like a spicy component to it. Add a little complexity to the drink.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, once you're done with that, you just add ice and shake.
In series 1, I said shaking the mocktail was my favorite part. It still is. It still stands. Do you have any special tricks to show us?
For shaking? Well, right now, I'm using these tins, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different types of shakers. The important thing is, like I've read somewhere, it's kind of like a pitch, like when you're pitching, it doesn't really matter how you do the dance beforehand, how you like wind up and, do your leg and everything. It's like you get it across the plate, right? And that's what we're trying to do here, right? What are we trying to get when we're shaking? We're trying to get it cold. We're trying to get water in there, right? We're trying to mix the ingredients together. And that's why you'll see with a lot of cocktails that have ingredients like lemon juice or like lime juice. The reason why we shake it is so that all the ingredients like kind of mesh in together. Because like if you let a cocktail sit for a while, like you all know the thing, you come back to your drink after letting it sit, and then you see like this little layer of citrus or something, separated from it all. But that's why we shake it, so that it all combines together. So for that reason, for the dilution, for the bringing the temperature down, we'll want to shake for about 8 to 12 seconds.
And I'm gonna stir while you shake, just so that I can catch up here. I'm very dainty with my stirring.
Ale.
Voila.
I just practiced with water this time because I poured my drink already. I beat you to the chase, Jim.
In it to win it.
In it to win it.
Then you can get any type of glass. Right now I'm using Nick and Nora, but a coupe works. And if you want to put over ice, that also works. And yeah, you can just pour it in. If you want to use a fine mesh strainer, you can also do so.
Yeah, I used a strainer at home today when we were getting started here. And I also estimated I didn't have a scale for the cardamom, so I just did about like a tablespoon of cardamom in my simple syrup. So I'm excited to see what it tastes like. But it's so nice to be able to improvise with all these too. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is with all these drinks, there's like a recipe that you might either see online or you hear from someone like me, but it doesn't mean it's like the recipe for you.
Right.
You might have a different preference, and that's the right recipe that you should be making. And I think that's important. To be like, okay, everyone has different preferences, everyone has different tastes. And, there's no rules to this thing, really. As long as you enjoy it, you like it, then we're good. Yeah, if you want to get extra fancy, you can get a little grapefruit.
Ooh.
That off. Even get more fancy, you can like get some little oils on there. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. And just get the...
Ooh.
How dare you?
No. Right.
Right here, we got our drink.
Oh, that's
I'm not even happy for you. I'm upset. That looks so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, and look what I have compared to him. Oh, yours looks nice too, Kat.
Who's yours? You have a very, I love the stemmed glass. I'm very like, keep it solid. This is a very stable, short glass, but it's not quite as elegant. But
Uh,
we get to see how all the same drinks come together in
oh wait.
different.
Oh
Justin,
yeah.
Mm.
what is
Yeah.
your,
Huh?
what does your drink look like?
Oh, I didn't even make it.
Oh, then we need to make you one. I will make you
Yeah, you
one.
guys are gonna have to make me one. It was a bit of a busy morning. I had time to make the last one and not the other one, unfortunately. So I just get to, you know what? I'm the food reviewer anyway. So now it's my turn to just watch you guys drink and be awkward. It's
Hmm.
fantastic. First
Oh, it smells
impressions. What do
good.
you guys think? Okay, it smells good.
Oh, grapefruit is my any citrus is my favorite.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, right now, just quick tip. I'm not gonna name the company because we don't have the rights or whatever. But one of the wholesale warehouse places, very famous. It's the third letter of the alphabet. They start with the third letter of the alphabet. Their grapefruit and oranges are very good right now.
Yeah,
In
Yeah.
season.
agreed. Absolutely agreed. Like insane, especially for Alaska. Yeah, this is
Mhm.
Yes.
time for this grapefruit sipper. Agreed.
Yes.
Ooh,
Perfect timing for it. Jen, thank you so much. Is this also an original concoction? Of course it is. Why did I even ask that?
This is one of the owners' concoctions, really.
By the way, if you're just tuning in, everyone, this is Mr. Jen Mitchum, our bartender from Amalga Distillery. So that's where he's at. That's where he works. And if you're ever out in Juneau, go and bug him. Tell him I sent you. And yeah, ask for this drink because my gosh, it looks
Oh,
fantastic.
it's good. You are missing out.
Oh, I will catch up, sir. I will catch up.
Oh,
But this is your guys' time to shine. So we did our first impressions. Take a sip. Go
cheers.
for it.
I know no drinks on the computer, but we can still cheers the computer, right?
Yeah, buddy. Here's to mocktails.
5. We're not even at the rating part, and I say 5.
5. We're
Yep.
on it.
Mm-hmm.
Just skip to the end. That's it, folks. I'll
Yep.
see you guys later. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Bye. 5 for sure. Like
5 for sure, huh?
yeah, all the way. And
Yeah, the grapefruit against the cardamom is incredible. You're making me think the whole last year of beverages that I drank. I'm like, have I had nothing but water? Like, there's so much flavor and joy in this
Mhm.
beverage. But yeah, the blend of those two flavors goes together in a way that I was not expecting at all.
Mhm.
And I almost don't like the lime is really subtle. You can feel it in there. It's not as much pucker as what we experienced last month when we tried the palm.
Right.
Like, yeah. Oh wow, it just connects it all. It's like the Lebowski rug that ties the whole room together. That's where the lime is in this drink.
Did you just say the Lebowski rug?
Yeah, you know the thing that ties it all together. That's the Lebowski.
Oh, I know. I'm just very proud of you for referencing that. Thank
The
you.
dude abides with the grapefruit sipper.
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't know what you're
Absolutely.
talking about with Lebowski rug. He said he's 32 years old. Like, there's.
Like, oh yeah, it's one of those classic movies, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big one for me. I'm a cinephile, so I feel like it would be a sin for me not to know
Oh, gotcha.
Lebowski.
That was
Yeah.
something that was made in the late 1900s, right?
1800s, I thought. In
Oh,
fact,
okay.
it's one of the earliest films starring Audrey Hepburn. I don't know where I'm going with this.
He
That's
was a
all.
cowboy, right? The
It's
narrator.
all a lie. Exactly right, Kat. Yes, we are all obviously film historians. Um,
Mm.
I'm so glad. Cardamom is one of my favorite spices. So I can taste it already. I can smell it already. So I'm very excited to take your guys' word for it for the moment. Continue to drink, continue to enjoy it. June, and while we're at it, since we're all drinking, community is brought together by things like drink and by food. We can say that a million times over for a million years, and it will always ring true, at least for me. And so while we're in the spirit, I'd like to kind of jump on a funky conversation about Pride Month, it being June, and Juneteenth. what those things mean to us, and why are they even important? I mean, that may sound like a kind of a silly question. It's like, well, no, duh, so we don't sound racist. But it is such a nuanced and layered thing, especially in 2020 and even more so in 2021. Do any of you guys have thoughts on Pride Month and or Juneteenth? I would love to hear it. This is your guys' time to talk.
I would love to share something about Juneteenth. So I grew up, I'm not originally from Alaska. I'm from outside of Philadelphia, which is an incredibly diverse city and has an incredibly modeled history as far as race relations and I mean, like so much of our country still does.
Mhm.
But I never knew what Juneteenth was until last year. I'm
wow.
39 years old. Never knew. It was never taught. And I remember, last year hearing about it and being like, I've heard like of this, but I don't know what this is. And when I looked up the history of it, I was floored. I was so embarrassed and like I felt super ashamed that I didn't know this massive part of American history that is a massive part of American history, not only for the events of Juneteenth, but understanding, what that aspect of our society was for African Americans. Like, it just blew my mind. And I called all of my best girlfriends from growing up and I was like, did I just sleep through this in high school? Did I sleep through this in middle school? Did I sleep through this how did I miss this? And they were like, no, we never learned about that. And I was like, how? It's frightening. It's really frightening. And, I feel like, I went through the public school system, but I feel like I had a decent education. I felt like I learned to think critically and all of these things. And yet public education completely whitewashed that out of our education. And so for me, last year was an incredibly eye-opening year, as far as so many things like we talked about last month with Asian American, stopping Asian American hate and understanding the hate that was, sort of eschewed or spewed during the pandemic. But I mean, you think you understand racism or you think that, you might not be a part of it. But the reality is that, ignorance and intolerance, unfortunately, while one may be, more benign and one absolutely, malignant, they are hand in hand. And when we are not informed, there's just, a lack of compassion or a lack of empathy or understanding that makes it really hard for us to be a cohesive culture. And so I think for me, thinking about Juneteenth this year as somebody who understands it so differently, it's just, I was blown away. And it really makes you rethink everything you've ever learned and how much about the world you might be misunderstanding and how many places you might have a disconnect with somebody that is your brother or sister or your neighbor or, any person in your community that you just don't understand what they've gone through. And so for me, I think this year I'm really excited to reflect on Juneteenth and to, share what I've learned with the people who might have been in the same situation as me last year. And I'm really excited to learn more. And I feel really lucky to have, learned about it now. Although I wish I could have known more about, my fellow Americans for the last 15, 20, 30 years, it's striking. And that's just Juneteenth. And, Pride, there's so much to celebrate this month, when we think about all of the diversity in our culture. So I'm really excited for this year to sort of engage with both celebrations and both holidays and to just, find a way to connect even better with my fellow community members and fellow Americans. So yeah, thanks for letting me go off on a rant. But yeah, wow, it's scary what we can go through life without knowing. It can be really dangerous too, aside from just frightening.
Absolutely, Kat. That was beautifully put. And I think it doesn't surprise me, having also gone through the public education system, what was omitted, whitewashed, just not spoken of, not allowed to be talked about, almost, it would seem. And that's a very unfortunate thing, right? It's not your fault. It's not, I mean, and is blame the most important thing to discuss anyway, right? It's such a nuanced thing. I think about my ancestry, the people that came before me. And I also think about my legacy, the people that will come after me, my daughter who just turned 5. She stands out. She's in kindergarten right now. And, but in preschool, I noticed she was the only Black kid in her class. Now, that's not inherently a bad thing. And it's not necessarily something that anyone's really going to care about or notice if you're 3, 4 years old, hopefully. But as these sorts of things continue, I think about George Floyd, and I think about Breonna Taylor, and I think about Ahmaud Arbery, and those were just the top 3 on the news from last year. That wasn't even everyone in 2020 alone. And I think about my daughter, and I get scared because I think 10 years from now, what's going to happen? What's this world going to be like? Is it going to be better or for worse for people that look like her? And I don't mean to harp on it too much. It's a very emotional thing for me, of course, as a Black man, but it's also an emotional thing. It should be an emotional thing for humanity, because you called us not meaning people who look like me, but us people, your fellow Americans. And I think that is, it shouldn't blow my mind, but that blew my mind. When I think of the term All-American, I don't think of Indigenous Americans. I think of the traditional, super handsome, super masculine, super fit, white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Captain America, Steve Rogers looking guy. I don't think about people that look like me, people that look like us here on this panel. So I think that's very powerful. I think that's very beautiful, to reflect on this time, to reflect on Pride Month as well.
Oh yeah, it's Pride Month as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a lot is happening. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, we could, it change and reworking toxicity into healthy conversations and action. It starts with these conversations. So what do you guys think about Pride?
Love
Pride
it.
Month?
Love it so much. I celebrated so much differently compared to when I was drinking, and
Yeah.
there has been so much internal work going on, especially over the last year.
Yeah.
Last month I spoke on, briefly spoke on my experiences as an Asian American, but compiling gay on top of that has been very strange. So since I've been sober, I've been really educating myself on what that really means. And I've been in a long-term relationship, now married, and how does being gay and Asian fit into this single unit of a relationship? And learning that love's not colorblind. You can be in love with somebody so much, but there are certain conversations that you will just never see eye to eye on or come to a common ground of understanding. And same thing with some of my very close friends, and when talking about queer issues, they can be total allies and great at posting on Facebook and virtue signaling. But when it comes to the one step of making the change and turning allyship into activism, can be like quite difficult for folks. And like with man, I'm going down a dark hole, but Pride Month is very, very important to me. And now that I've become grown to the person that I am, I'm celebrating it more and more in more meaningful ways. I don't treat it as a way to go to Provincetown on the Massachusetts on the hook and then just wear Speedos and always have a mojito in hand on all the Kennedy money territory. I'm educating. I actually just recently read this book, Shoot. there is this wonderful book by Ocean Vuong called On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. And it's about this Vietnamese guy, Vietnamese, who's also queer. I really recommend it to y'all. It's about, he writes it in the form where it's a letter to his mom, where he's talking about his identities. I can't give it too much away, but it's quite interesting. Yeah. But Pride Month, yes, thank you for having us here. Celebrate, but also remember there's Juneteenth. There's so much going on.
Yeah, it's a busy month. It's an important month, and it's good to talk about these things, to reflect on them, not for the sake of changing people's minds or getting into an argument just for the sake of to be right or wrong, but we can't progress if we pretend like there isn't something going on that needs to be talked about. So I just, in conclusion, we already rated the drinks. Life is good. Summer in Alaska gets no better than this. Having great conversations with great mocktails. Thank you so much, Jen, for instructing us on how to make them. They're absolutely delicious. Andrew, you gave yours a 5. Kat?
I'm gonna have to. I see it. Last month I gave mine a 5, but now I think I need to up the scale. So can I give it a 5.5?
Woo!
We'll see.
Oh,
That's my up the scale. This one though, the pairing of the grapefruit and cardamom, so good.
Chef's kiss.
Never would have thought about that ever, and it's good.
Unbelievable. She gave it a 5.5 out of 5.
Sometimes you just gotta up the ante a little,
Yeah, the ceiling is here. You said boom and put it right here. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. All right. Well, everyone, this is going to wrap up our second episode of First Taste from Recover, Alaska. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all next month.